All right, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a quick video with you about the point of viability argument that you sometimes hear in abortion debates. If you've watched any debates online, or maybe you've been involved in a conversation yourself, you've probably heard the term point of viability brought up before, okay? So what is that point of viability? Well, typically when people say that, they're talking about the point in which children or fetuses or babies, whatever you want to call it, we know it's a living human being, but they're talking about a point in which that child is capable of living outside the womb on its own, okay, outside the mother's womb. And if you were to do a quick Google search, okay, I did one right before I did this video, and it tells me that typically they say that's around the 23 to 24 weeks of gestation. That's when they say that most people would agree that that is the point of viability, okay? But you know, all babies aren't the same, okay? Much like adolescents or teenagers, they don't all develop at the same rate or at the same speed, okay? They're all different and unique. Okay, in fact, you know, that quick Google search said 24 weeks is the typical one, but I found where at least 5 different babies have survived as early as 21 weeks of gestation. That's a full 3 weeks earlier than what they're claiming the typical point of viability is, okay? So that automatically puts off, flags, right? How many babies have been aborted over the years? How many times have doctors suggested to the mothers that they abort the babies because they're not viable, when in reality, it's possible some of them could have survived at 21 weeks, 22 weeks, okay? It's possible, right? How many of these babies were killed through abortion because they weren't at that point of viability that they thought that it couldn't survive on its own, but maybe it could have, okay? And since we know that each baby, we can't really know when each baby is truly viable, here's the really important question. How can we be so comfortable in saying it's okay to abort this child? How can we say that? This baby could be different than the other one. It could survive at 22 weeks or even 21 weeks. We don't know. So we shouldn't be comfortable saying that this is the point of viability and it can be aborted before then because, hey, it can't make it on its own anyway. Okay? How confident can we be with any point that we select? Whether it's 24 weeks, 23 weeks, maybe even 26 weeks. How can we be confident with any of those? We shouldn't be. Okay, for a lot of people though, 24 weeks is kind of their set in stone point where they say, yeah, that's the point of viability. Okay, they're solid on that belief. They feel that it's reasonable. But is it? Is that really a reasonable point? Okay, and here's my question for you all. What magically happens at that point in that 1 minute time span between 23 weeks, 6 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes? What happens in that one next minute that it changes to 24 weeks? And now all of a sudden, it's now a living human being. It's deserving of rights. It's deserving of protection. It shouldn't be aborted. What happened in that 1 minute time span where all of a sudden it's deserving of life? Nothing, right? Okay, nothing happened. It's the same exact baby. Okay, nothing has changed. All it is 1 minute older, 1 minute more developed. Okay, so how did, if they were entitled to those rights now, how are they not entitled to the same rights 1 minute prior? It just doesn't make sense. Okay? People act like a baby that hasn't reached the point of viability is unworthy of life and it can just be aborted simply because it can't survive outside its mother's womb on its own. But what they fail to realize a lot of times, or what they conveniently ignore, is the fact that newborn babies, just 1 day old, they can't survive on their own outside the womb either. They need constant care and protection from their mother. They got to be fed and changed and cleaned and provided for. They're totally dependent on the mother too, just like the baby inside the womb. Okay? So they're still highly dependent. And just as we shouldn't kill a baby inside the womb, just as we shouldn't kill that 1 day old baby, we shouldn't be killing the baby in the womb either. Okay? It doesn't matter if they're 26 weeks, 24 weeks, or 22 weeks. It doesn't matter if they're 6 weeks old. Point of viability argument is a bogus argument. It's designed to dehumanize those younger babies so that they can feel okay in saying, yeah, we can kill these ones. They're not fully developed. They're not really a human being yet. That's what this argument's all about. Okay, so don't buy into it. As soon as people start asking you about the point or talking about the point of viability, ask them immediately, what changes? Find out what they believe the point of viability is. If they say 24 weeks, ask them what happens at that point. What magically happens that changes that baby so that it's now a human being worthy of life and worthy of protection? Point them out on that, and they're not going to be able to answer your question, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, scientifically speaking, not a single thing happens. Nothing has changed. It's the exact same baby it's been from the very moment of conception, from fertilization and on. All that has changed is it's 1 minute more developed. That's it, okay? So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button. If you got any comments, any questions, please put it down in the chat below. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thanks, you all. Take care.